Prepare for the journey. Let the music ease your soul. Grab a spliff and start burning. Relax with us and take a trip to the heavens. And come and spend a day in the 757.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the After Show, but later. It's your boy D, and I'm joined again by El Kukui. And today we actually have another Carl that is famous. When I told him when he jumped on, I felt like I was talking to a celebrity because this guy used to be called Hollywood Mike. This guy has asked the Smashing Pumpkin questions. I remember that, Mike. I remember when Billy was in studio and you got to have Covino ask a question on your behalf. That was awesome. Yeah. But everybody, we have Mike Durbin from the world famous Covino and Rich listeners. But even more famous than that, we have Mike Durbin from the Mike Durbin Show himself. Welcome, Mike.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for having me. I have been wanting to come on this show since almost from the beginning of when you guys started. I was waiting for you to ask me though. I didn't want to ask you guys.
No, not. You know what? I hope there's not anybody else who feels like that because, man, for me, I wanted to do this so Carlos could connect and we could talk, about Covino and Rich the way we typically do.
Yeah.
And so, man, I wish you would have asked to come on a long time ago. I felt a little intimidated to ask, to be honest.
Oh, well, I mean, you didn't have guests right away, right?
No, honestly, the first person we had, it was Jonathan and myself. We did the show, and the first person we had was Joey in Texas, and there was no video element to the show at that point. And it was probably more than a year ago at this point. Well, actually, I know because we've been about a year in COVID, and it was definitely before COVID.
Yeah.
So, we had Joey in Texas, and then there was a couple of episodes where I welcomed a couple of people, El Kukui being one of them, on my own when Jonathan wasn't able to do it. So I was like, you know what? I wonder if I could reach out to some people and have them fill in. El Kukui was always stoked and like, hey, hit me up if you ever want to do it again. So now I'm hitting them up every fucking weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So, but I appreciate it. And for me, what I like about this is we typically each have notes from the show, but what I like about it is we're just talking how we would normally be talking if we were having a drink, So you talk about the show and then you drift off. You go on to other topics. You might see a chick walking by that you both are looking at and you're like, oh, all right, or whatever. And then the conversation, you go on a tangent. And that's kind of how this is. We're talking as if we were chilling with the drink, which I poured myself one for Covino and Rich's new endeavors. I broke out the bottle of Patron. I don't know if you could see that.
Shit.
But I kind of got into it a little bit, if you could see that. But yeah, man, made myself a drink, and I just wanted to be chilling with the homies. So I guess let's address the elephant in the room. Covino and Rich will no longer be on Sirius XM. So what are you guys' thoughts so far? I guess, Mike, we can start with you since you're the guest.
It's a day that I thought it was possible to happen. But then, half of me thought, nah, they've been here for 16 years. There's really no shows they're longer than them. There might be one or two, but they're the company guys. They never took sick days until a couple of years ago. Holidays they would work. They were the workhorses of Sirius XM. They put on the guac off. They were favorites around the office probably. So there were little hints dropped. If you really listened hard over the past couple months, you kind of knew something was up. But I don't think anybody was expecting it this week.
I don't even think they were expecting it, to be honest, because I don't know. Did either of you get to join in on the Instagram Live this morning?
I watched part of it.
Well, Covino had mentioned that they told us on Monday. I figured, I was like, they might have known for a few months now. But Covino mentioned that they told us Monday, and they themselves may have found out the previous Friday. So they had like 3 days before they told us they were going to have like a major announcement. Yeah. So, that tripped me out because I was thinking, they might have known this for a few months. And I was kind of thinking, like, why are they just now kind of setting all this shit up? Like, they were trying to set up the Patreon. They're kind of trying to work out the kinks. And I was like, if they've known for a few months, why are they doing this just now? Yeah. And it wasn't until their Instagram live that Covino said that they found out like that Friday, and they told us that Monday. I was like, holy shit! I didn't realize it was that quickly.
Yeah. Well, Covino's been saying for weeks now for everyone to subscribe to the Best of podcast. He's like, it's very important to do that. I'm thinking, well, why now? After 2 years or so, why is it so important now to subscribe to it? And then I kind of thought something was going to happen, but yeah, didn't expect it this week.
What about you, Okokoi? What do you think?
Well, what's crazy is I always tripped out they never really addressed the ESPN deal. And then I tried to Google it and try to, do some little Google search, and it didn't really have any info on there either. So I was always curious because I watched that show every single night, Monday through Friday. That was my jam at 11. And so just, the fact that disappeared and they didn't say nothing. And then just, were they going to go back to the studios at some point? Does Sirius even need the studios at some point? Because arguably, in my personal opinion, I don't know if you guys agree or not, but I feel like this last year was one of their best.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a studio. So
for me, it wasn't even for me. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it wasn't like it was one of their best. To me, I felt like they didn't skip a beat. I felt like there were some days I was listening where I forgot that they weren't in studio, until they mentioned something, or, Spot was like, I'm going to run to my kitchen or whatever.
Right.
But for me, it wasn't like, oh, this was the greatest year ever. But to me, it was just as good as it's been and never skipped a beat, in my opinion.
Or Spot trying to brew coffee twice, or what, he tried to warm it up? Remember that? Did you guys catch that one?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Spot brought up, he's been bringing up coffee quite a bit because he had told Rich that they went through like an entire container or some shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Bro, I've already subscribed. Have you guys subscribed already?
Yeah.
I haven't because I subscribe to a few other Patreons. I know that they start billing on the 1st of the month. So if you subscribe like on the 23rd, you get charged that day. Then you're gonna get charged on the 1st. Again. So yeah, it's not like you get charged on the 23rd of every month. You get charged when you start, and then you get charged on the 1st again. I don't know why they have it set up like that. No other service does that except for Patreon. So I mentioned that to the guys today, and Spot thinks that you won't get charged until they start putting out content. So I hope he's right, because it's going to be a real pain in the ass if they have hundreds of people that paid twice.
Yeah, well, either way, they're gonna put out their content on the 1st.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking people are gonna get charged regardless. Well, for me, it'll work out perfect because Sirius actually charged me on Thursday when Covino and Rich made their announcement, and it was $20 just for the service I had in my vehicle, and then for the like app or whatever the hell. So it was literally $20, 20.00. And when I called to cancel my service, they were going to refund me the entire amount. I thought they were going to keep like a couple of bucks, being like, oh, well, you had it for 3 more days or whatever the hell. But they refunded me the entire amount. So I'm like, well, I have that extra $20. If they wanted to take that 10 and then another 10 on the 1st, well, fuck it. I mean, whatever,
Yeah.
I'm anticipating that first show, dude. I want to see, if anything changes. If any, maybe they have more freedom, right? Maybe Spot's got more creative freedom. I'm curious. I'm ready. It's supposed to be Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
And you know what? Go ahead, Mike.
The thing I thought was strange was the 4-day thing. I don't blame them. I would try and get a 3-day weekend too if I could, but just weird. That's kind of Stern-like, It's like when Howard Stern first went to Sirius, he went, he was doing 4 days instead of the 5 that he did it when he was doing radio. He comes to Sirius, he's doing 4, then eventually went to 3. So, yeah, 4 is fine. I just hope they don't go down to 3 at some point.
No, I doubt they will. And, that was one of the things that Covino was addressing in the Instagram Live today, is he said that they're going to be doing the 4 because they're going to have the extra content, right, in the evenings and all that stuff. So they might have, like, Tudmaster Tommy night or whatever the hell they were saying. And I'm hoping... to me, it's not that big of a deal because I work Monday through Thursday. So usually
Yeah.
Friday, I'm like, kind of just like laying there in bed trying to wake up, and I'm, putting them on or whatever and listening. And they do kind of get my weekend started for me because I'm listening to them, and I might like run some errands or whatever. But to me, I think it would really bother me if I was working that Friday. I'd be like, damn, because you have such a routine when you go to work,
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm just, I kind of thought, I don't know, man. Like, it sucks because, like, I was kind of like shocked when I heard it, even though, like Mike, you were saying, there's been some things that have been kind of hinted towards, I would even say the last couple of months,
Yeah.
where, they've been promoting, and Covino's been saying, he's a huge, advocate for pushing their social, and he's the oldest one, but he's like, follow us, follow us, follow us. He's been like drilling it into everybody that you need to follow him. And that's been kind of like where I'm kind of like, okay, I understand they need their numbers for like management and shit, but there was kind of an extra push, I feel like, the last few months. And I kind of felt like that kind of made me think something, but honestly, I still, in the back of my mind, was like, there's no way it could happen. There's no way. I've been listening. This May will be 9 years that I've been listening. And for me, I'm thinking, for you guys, I think the both of you have been listening way longer than me because I've known both of your names since before I even fucking knew anybody else. And I just took it for granted. I never thought they would be off of Sirius, And I was a ride or die person for Sirius. I would fucking tell everybody I knew about it. And it was kind of like a shock to me to where I was like, fuck, like I really didn't believe it. It's like when your fucking parents die, You're like, they're not going to fucking die. They're going to be here forever. And when they do,
right.
You're like, oh, fuck, like for real? Like, yeah, I knew they were sick or I knew this or that, but I didn't think like, I kind of felt like the show was sick, And then we woke up one day and they weren't breathing,
Right.
It's just,
Now,
kind of.
once they cut Ellis, man, that's kind of when I got nervous too, because
Yep.
he was, he wasn't, obviously he had a different product and a different brand, but he did his Ellis Manias and he did shit like that too. And he had a loyal following. And so for me, that was kind of like, I didn't immediately think, okay, Covino and Rich are next, but I'm thinking if they can drop Ellis, they can drop Covino and Rich too. And so, yeah, that day wasn't a good day either. And I'm not a big Ellis guy. Like I was, especially when they fought back in the day, I was Covino Rich all day. Ellis's brand kind of a little sicker humor than usually that I tune into. You know what I mean? Spawn talking about his junk's about as far as I go. But
yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm hoping, and I mean, if they don't, it's cool regardless. But I could tell as well, and Covino mentioned it, and actually they've all kind of mentioned it, that over over the last like few months or whatever, they've been kind of not rebranding, but they've been going in a different direction to where it's now, sports, entertainment, and whatever, relationships or whatever the hell, and they've been doing like more of the sports talk, and they've been doing like, I know they've been kind of going in a different direction. I think they've also, and I think it was partially because they were employed by Disney, that they cut out a few of like the Lee jokes, like, oh, that's my buddy Sirius Lee, or whatever.
Yeah.
And Patient Lee, and those, I don't think they were offensive. I'm not Asian, obviously, but I think they stopped doing that, not really because they feel like they've grown. I feel like they were doing it more for their brand. They were trying to protect Sirius and trying to protect Disney and trying to protect everybody else because they didn't want, their doings to come off bad on their companies, which I completely understand. But I just hope now that they're on Patreon and the people that are, listening to them are coming to them for their product, I hope they feel, I hope they don't go Pat Sajak and start making fun of people with stutters and shit. But I hope they bring a little bit of their, I don't want to say old humor, but I hope they feel a little more relaxed, being that it's going to be their audience.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, one thing that I had a theory months ago. I thought that Sirius re-signed them, because they were doing the short-term contracts with them since COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that a while ago they signed a full contract, but I thought Sirius told them, "Hey, don't make a public announcement. We're going to be getting rid of people. It's going to make people feel bad, so just keep it quiet." That was my theory for a while, and then especially when they bought the houses, both of them bought houses at the same time. I was like, "Oh, for sure, they're good." I'm like, they got a contract. They wouldn't have done that if they didn't have a contract. They both a house and a condo. And then, turns out no.
Yeah, and you know what? And I think because I'm not saying they were being careless, but I think they knew things were changing. They knew, they cut Jason Ellis and all them. But I just think part of them, were confident enough in themselves that they weren't gonna get a shitty deal. So I feel like they bought the houses and condos and all that with the intent of or with the expectation rather that they were going to be re-signed, which they could have been re-signed, like they keep saying, like they weren't canceled, they weren't fired, but they just couldn't accept that offer, like they've been saying,
Yeah.
What my question is that offer going to be greater than what they're going to make on Patreon? Because maybe if the offer was bad, the true hustler goes to plan B, takes it for the interim just to keep that revenue coming in, and then sets up a short-term exit strategy, especially if they're signing short-term contracts. I mean, maybe take that, unless they're going to get more off the Patreon.
Yeah. Well, Patreon, there's no way to know right now what they're going to earn from that, they haven't even started it yet, really. So, they don't have to make as much as their contract because they're still getting paid to be on Sirius. They're still doing the music stuff, so they don't have to really match it, the contract. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see, how many subscribers they get and everything. So
I wonder what they got for that show. I wonder what their contract was just to do the Covino and Rich show.
Yeah, no idea.
It's funny because I must have had a dream about it, but I don't know if it's because El Cucuy, you and myself have kind of like thrown out numbers that we think, but I'm like 99.9% sure I dreamt this, but I heard Rich in my dream saying that that they didn't get $400,000 for their contract, and I think you and I, Al Cucuy, were saying it was around 4 or 5 we're thinking, and then Spot maybe like 2, and well, in my dream I guess they've been on in my subconscious, and I heard Rich on the show, on my imaginary show, that they weren't getting the 400,000, I guess, that they were used to or some shit. But what's crazy is that it actually I hate to say it, but what kind of scares me is that if you look at like Jason Ellis, and I'm sure like he's putting some stuff on YouTube and he has other outlets and stuff, but if you only look at his Patreon numbers, he's only got like 430 some odd Patreons. Yeah, if I could say that word correctly.
I wonder what his tiers are. Like, I'm gonna look right now. Actually,
they're like, I'm looking it up. They're the same. I think they're $5 and $10 if I'm not mistaken. So, I actually had a conversation with my buddy the other day. I don't have my phone on me, but I started doing the math with my buddy Luis because we were talking about this, and I was saying if everybody, let me get off of Google and just talk to you guys. I was saying do you see the numbers right now, Mike?
Yeah, he's got 4,500.
4,500. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the math I did for what is it, like the $10 service is their premium service, right?
Yeah.
So what I had done the math, I think I did it correctly. Now that you say 4,000, I may have done it wrong. But it had come out to like, I was thinking, say he has a team of like 10. It's like him, Tully, there's some other guy. They have, I'm sure, a couple of people to edit. There's like 5 people right there if you do that. If he has a team of like 5, then I'm sure they're doing okay. But when I did the math, if they have a team of, I think I did like 10, they're making like $8,000 a month or something. And that's like, you're pulling in what, like 80, 90 G's with that. Like that's nothing for them. But, for me, I was just thinking like, damn, cause I know with like Ellis Mania and all that shit, they have like some crazy like diehard fans and stuff. So I was thinking, not like I use him as a gauge just because I feel like he has like a somewhat similar show, and I think his fans are just as passionate as us. So I don't know, man. I don't know, and it's just, I'm sure. I mean, I would say like I'm nervous for what's about to come because it's unpredictable, but I'm sure they're more nervous than we are. You know?
Yeah,
for sure, bro. That's why I was. No, go ahead, brother.
The thing with Patreon is like it's great for the short term and for the long term, but it's something where they can stop it at any time if they want. If in 2 or 3 months from now, if the economy all of a sudden starts getting better, you know, when people get vaccinated, everyone's vaccinated, concerts are going on, TV shows are starting up again. If they, let's say they get a deal with a TV company, you know, to do a new show, or, you know, Spotify or iHeartRadio or anywhere doing a radio show, they can stop doing Patreon. They don't owe anybody, you know, hopefully they'll finish out the month and give the subscribers what they paid for, but it's not where they're roped into a contract anywhere, you know? So,
Right.
And you know what? If they even see like some positive like revenue off of it, and they do get a deal with, like you said, Mike, with Spotify or iHeart or one of those, they may, now that they know their Patreon, they have it going into a new contract, they may be able to even write that into their new contract where they can still do maybe not the show every morning like we're getting, but maybe they want to just keep the evening stuff and just change it from the $5 or $10 to like only the $5, you know?
yeah.
And so that may be something positive for the future. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure. I trip out on how open they've been with us during their recent like Facebook lives and Instagram lives or whatever the hell they're doing, because man, it's some really personal stuff. It's like, and like Covino was even saying today that he was like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my house or his condo. And he was like half joking, and he even said like, I'm kind of joking because he does have savings, but that's like a real concern for them right now. Like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? You know? And for them, one of the things that I appreciate, but they definitely don't have to do. They don't have to share any of that with us. You know?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim Titulowinski or whatever the hell.
Yep. Polish name.
Well, welcome, Tim. I'm glad you jumped on, man.
Yeah, I was on Amanda Furr's one last night. That one lasted kind of late. So let me see how long I can stick this one out.
Cool, man. Well, we were talking about Covino and Rich and their new gig and all that.
I would assume that's the topic of discussion.
Of course, right?
How
do you feel?
Hear Jason Ellis talk.
Yeah. We were talking about Stern and how much we love him.
Fuck Stern.
Jokes aside, that was a joke.
Yeah.
I don't want to make you uncomfortable, Tim. We were joking.
No. I'm not uncomfortable. I'm trying to figure out my point there. Like, we don't hate him. We're not gonna like take pitchforks and shove it up his ass and make like fucking what a kosher sausage, whatever. Trying to figure out a Jewish joke there, but like, yeah, he could probably share the money. He's on his way out. He needs to let the rest in. But I was talking to Amanda, just wondering what are we really upset about? I was trying to nitpick it. I'm wondering if it was like the premier platform that we jumped off, and that they're being downgraded to like podcasts. But I think Covino was talking about it today on the Facebook Live or Instagram Live. Like, maybe they're jumping on at the right time. This is the time to grow. Maybe they're going to be one of the premier podcasts.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think right now, and I feel like it's kind of the same thing with I think kind of like YouTube as well. A lot of people that are YouTube creators and stuff, a lot of people are asking like, is it too late to jump onto YouTube? But I feel like it's kind of the same thing like with Bitcoin, right? People right now are going, is it too late to jump into Bitcoin when, a year ago it was at, like 15 G's or whatever, and they were like, is it too late now? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, right now I feel like with Patreon and with a lot of these podcasts, yeah, somebody like Rogan's been doing it for 10 years, but Rogan for a long time was the only one doing it for 10 years, So when I look at like podcasts and the direction that Covino and Rich are going with Patreon and that, I feel like it's still very early into the game to where I feel like they can be on the ground floor for Patreon, because even more than podcasts, Patreon's even newer than the concept of a podcast,
Yeah,
for sure.
I had just heard about Patreon because I'm starting to get into the stock market. I was actually jumping in before, what's his name? Dougie Fresh, whatever, Fresh Pig, before they started bragging about him. And
El Cucuy, you said that you had a couple of things from the week that you, before we got the announcement on Thursday, you told me that you had some good things.
Yeah, one of them is, hey, bro, when did Spot get so nasty? I've heard recently, bro, him make so many comments about Sarah, and like, I know they're close, but I don't know. Do you guys feel he crossed the line a little bit? And why all of a sudden is Spot, he's already muscled out, right? Which, congrats to him, because I know that's driving Rich bananas. Mm-hmm. But he's been making a lot of dirty comments, bro, and usually it's about Covino or Rich's old lady.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I don't talk about any of my friends' wives like that for sure. I know it's for jokes and it's on the air and stuff like that. I wonder if he does it off air, like if they're just hanging out, does he make comments?
Yeah.
If it's only on air, it's fine.
Yeah, it's honestly, I don't. I know Spot has, and actually, this tells you how long this has been going on because I haven't done a show with Jonathan in about a year, and I remember him and I having conversations about this, so that just tells you. But I remember Spot got all butthurt one time, and he was like, people don't know that, we're just joking and all this shit. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. Like, cool story, bro. But at the same time, I don't, like, I know he's joking. I understand that. Let's get that out of the way. I've just never done that. And like you said, Mike, if it's only for an on-air kind of like shtick, then cool. Whatever. Even then, I don't think it's cool, but whatever. But cool. Cool enough, I guess. If it is only for the radio, then cool, I guess. But I just don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I just don't ever hear one of them joking about that like Spot's wife. None of them are making those comments towards Kristen.
Yeah. No, and like Covino will say like, oh, Spot, you're lucky. Like, your woman's beautiful. And like, that's like, that's the extent of either one of them, saying something like a little provocative or whatever, and it's just crazy because like you'll hear a Spot like if Rich will be like, oh yeah, like my girl's got a fat ass or whatever, and Spot will be like, yeah, she does, and then he keeps going on, he keeps going on like, oh, those glistening cakes, and Sarah, come sit on my face or whatever the fuck, like, and he'll start and you're like, oh fuck, like, okay, one or two jokes is funny, but then like now he's like saying shit that he probably really wants to do, like,
for sure.
Like,
he's feisty, bro, and he never used to be feisty like that either. Spot don't care no more.
I know.
Yeah. The weird thing is, Spot makes a ton of comments about Jordan, about the jubbos, the ass. He never said anything about Layla, ever.
No, he
anything
didn't.
Along those lines. He was very respectful. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she couldn't take the joke, if she were
I doubt
to hear it. Who knows? But I don't ever recall Spot making a sexual joke about Layla.
Maybe it's because he thought she was more attractive, so he didn't want to slip up and then something real, Maybe with Jordan, it's more of like a friend to where he's like, jokes or whatever. But maybe with Layla, he was like, oh, I really would bang her if Covino wasn't my friend,
And I wondered, they didn't all kick it like that though when he was with Layla,
No.
did they? Like no couple, like not now, like now, huh?
Well, Mike should know. Mike kicked it with them more than any of us. You know, he's.
Well, I actually met Layla, you know, which I think is rare. You know, she didn't really. I mean, she's not as social as, you know, it seems like they are now. Like, I don't know if Layla ever went to a DBC. And I saw pictures the other. People were posting all those pictures up, and there was the last one in New York. I think it's like Sarah was there. I don't know if Jordan was there. I don't remember if I saw pictures of that, but yeah, I met the first time I met all of them. Layla was there. Actually, all three of them were there. Kristen had came out. This is before they moved to California. They were still in New York, and Kristen, Sarah, they came out for the trip, and then Layla was already living there, so all 6 of them were there.
Damn.
The first time. Yeah, it was pretty cool, man.
I never met Layla and I never met Sarah. Kristen's the only one I met. She was super nice though. I met her in Scottsdale, and like when we were leaving, like we were like, you know, giving like Cavino and Rich like bro hugs and stuff, and like Kristen was like so nice, like coming up and like hugging me like we were friends, and I had met her like earlier that day, you know. I never had the pleasure of meeting anybody else, Jordan, you know, Layla, Sarah, or whatever.
Yeah,
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good. You're good now, Tim.
All right.
Tim, were you at that meetup in Scottsdale or no?
Which one?
Where they were doing the road trip to actually go live in LA?
No, I was on the road. Yeah, because
okay.
I remember they were on cold beers and cheeseburgers.
Yeah,
Great spot.
that was when I met them. That was in 2015, July 3rd, actually. I know that like the birthday of my daughter.
This fucking guy. No, I've only met Rich. I was I was actually driving for Family Dollar.
That's one thing I wish I would have gotten a chance to do is actually see their New York studio. You know, they would joke about it.
It was the best time, man.
Really?
It was so much fun.
They joke about it being like kind of old school looking and not modern, but I just, man, to me that was like something I wish I could have gotten a chance to do.
Yeah.
I wish I would have went to a DBC for sure.
Well, they'll do that again, but you know we'll never get the chance to go back to that McGraw Hill building in New York. You know, just going up, it's a process to get in there. You got to go through the security, and then you go up this elevator. And dude, when you get on their floor, you look out. There's a clear staircase going down. It's 2 floors. It's massive. I remember the first time I was there, I was just amazed, you know. Saw all the Stern people walking by.
That's crazy. That, you know, it's so nuts that you say that because, like, I remember when I went to meet them in LA, when I was at their dental office studio, they were so cool because...
Was that the first one? Was that the first one they were in? That one was terrible.
Yeah, that was the one. And, you know, it's funny, Mike, because I don't know if you had... I don't know the extent of the friendship or anything, but you remember Jody, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I was telling them that I was possibly going to meet up with her because we had become friendly, you know, throughout like just being Carl's or whatever. And I was telling them, oh yeah, I was thinking about meeting up with somebody or meeting somebody, or I said something along those lines. And it was funny because I was thinking of like a personal friend, right? And Cavino and Rich, being how fucking cool that they are, they were like, like who? Like Maria Menounos? And I was like, wasn't even crossing my mind. I was thinking of somebody that I've met through social media and go and have a drink with or whatever, you know? And they were like, because we were thinking Maria will be here like around, I don't know, noon or whatever the hell. You know, they started talking about it. And I was just like, I wasn't even listening to what they were saying at that point because I was like, these dudes, like, how fucking cool are they to where they're even going to be like, oh, well, if Maria's around, let's bring her in so you can say hi to her, you know? And that's like fucking nuts to me. Because to me, I would have been like, if I would have had a guest come in and they were like, oh, I wanted to meet somebody or whatever, I would have been like, motherfucker, you're meeting me, you know? Congratulations, you know? But they were like, they were just like so cool about, oh yeah, like you could meet this person or whatever. I ended up leaving before she had come or whatever, but that's besides the point. And like they were like even telling me like they weren't sure what time like Jason Ellis was gonna be there and all this shit, and I was just like, that's how fucking cool is that, man? And like it trips me out how, Mike, you said like you're walking through the studio and you see like the Stern people and you see like it's surreal, you know?
Yeah,
I can't imagine that New York.
The second time I went to New York twice. The second time was better. I met Robin Quivers. I met Benji. I met.
Oh man, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I got a picture with Robin Quivers. Like how cool is that? That's not an easy picture to get.
Not at all.
Yeah, and then I met Benji. JD. I met again. I've met him a few times. Ronnie.
So JD, I'm thinking Ronnie and fucking Benji, are they as short as people say?
Benji is like my height. No, actually, no, because he wears those shoes. Benji wears the shoes with the lifts in them, and we were about eye to eye with him wearing these
height increasing shoes.
The Herman Munster shoes. So
that's crazy, man.
Yeah, but at JD, I've met him a few times at the Ronnie Munn block parties, and he's a real awkward guy, man.
Really?
I don't know how he got. Yeah, he's got that. You ever seen his wife?
No, I've heard that she's good looking though.
She is, and I don't understand how he got her.
I love when fuck, what's his name? There's Howard and fucking Fred. I love when Fred's doing the impression and he sticks a pen in his mouth.
Yeah.
You know? That shit is just like so funny to me.
Yeah. Yeah, the second time, I met them. Who else? I met Jason Momoa. He was there.
He was fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, because whenever I go there, I would always stay like 2 or 3 days. Like I met Jason Momoa one day. Emmy Rossum was there another day. Who else? When I went to LA, I'd never seen a guest there. They never had one when I was in LA. So I went there twice.
I went there a couple of times too. I don't think they had anybody either. The second time I went, I could have fucking I was so pissed because I was like the biggest Selena Gomez fan, right? I thought she was like the shit, right? And okay, well, this was the last time I went. The day before I went, I literally drove to LA that night, but I remember they were kind of whispering back and forth, and one of them was like, "What are you guys talking about?" or whatever. And then Archie was like, "Oh, Selena Gomez was right there. She was in the hall talking about something." And Archie was ran to just get a glimpse of her or whatever. And I was like, son of a bitch, if I would have been there today rather than tomorrow, I would have been that close to Selena Gomez. That's awesome, you know? And it's just so crazy. But as far as guests being there or anything, I just got to meet the guys, but that was enough for me, you know?
Yeah. I met Jose Mangan. That was pretty cool. He brought me in his office. Yeah, he brought me in his office and he was showing me all this memorabilia and stuff. He's got guitars on the wall. So he's just as you would imagine him, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Just even me.
Oh man, Baseline Trey.
What's up, fellas?
Baseline Trey.
We got the homie in the house.
What's up, man?
I don't know if Mike, you've met Baseline Trey before, but there's Baseline Trey. The Covino and Rich famous, and Trey, there's the Covino and Rich famous Mike Durbin. And then both of you guys, there's a Trey, there's also the Covino and Rich famous Tim Titalinsky from Arizona. Trey, we got to get your take on Covino and Rich moving to Patreon. What's going on, man? What do you feel about that?
I'm just really hearing about it myself. I saw an email, but I hadn't opened it up, and I'm a few shows behind. I'm never able to listen to them, in real time. So catch me up. What's up?
Yeah, they dropped it on us. They dropped it on us on Thursday. They had told us starting Monday. They had been telling us they had a big announcement. Right. And you know what I thought it was going to be is that after 16 years, Covino and Rich will be here for another 2 years. That's what I thought it was going to be. But Thursday they hit us with I think it was after their first break, it might have been, or it might have been close to their first break that they actually talked to us about it. And it was like, yeah, it was like a relative was dying when I heard it.
Damn. So they leaving Sirius XM altogether.
Well,
Gone.
yeah.
Well, they're doing the music thing still.
Oh,
They're both doing the music side of it, but as far as the show as a whole, their Friday was their last show.
are you fucking kidding me?
Friday was their last show, man. Yeah, honestly, I didn't even listen to the show that day. I just listened to the live. And as shitty as the quality was, I sat there and listened to it. I was like, fuck it. You know, I didn't even have my Sirius on. I think I began the show with it playing, you know, normally like I always do. And then I think my sister texted me and she's like, brother, she was like, you know, they're on Facebook Live. So then I actually began watching it and I just stayed on there forever. And it's funny because I've been with my girl for years now and she's never really given a shit about it. You know, she's like, fuck it. Yeah, that's the shit you listen to. But it was funny. I walked into the room and there she was on the phone watching it too, fucking tearing up, you know, at the end.
Oh shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's rough,
How
man.
did Camino take it?
The worst.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see it. You gotta watch. If you gotta at least watch the ending of it on the Facebook thing. You gotta see the ending of it because they kept the camera on afterward for like 5-10 minutes. It's beautiful. Oh yeah, it might have been. I actually turned it off. I had to go. So yeah, if it was longer, I'll go check it out again.
You know, what a couple of people, and it was funny because I think I took it worse, this story I'm about to tell, than even Camino did, because at the end of the show, Trey, I'll tell you just a little spoiler alert. They, you know, after they're like arrivederci and they sign off, they kind of, Cavino said today that he forgot that the camera was on, but you know, he just put his hands in his face and he broke down. And Rich, the same thing. Rich, you know, broke down for a minute and then got up and walked away like he couldn't handle it. And I felt like it was so like generous of them to let us into that, you know. But what kind of pissed me off is that people were like screenshotting it and sharing it on the Carl page and stuff and being like, I know they didn't mean anything, you know, bad, because people were like, man, this was tough, and they were like, you know, sharing it and shit. But I felt like it was a little disrespectful that they were letting us into something that intimate, you know, that's such a big part of their lives, you know. And people were sharing it on the Carl page like, man, did you see this, man? And I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, everybody saw this shit, you know? And I'm like, you couldn't have had like a little class and been like, hey, just shared like a comment. Man, the end of the show really, you know, was really hard. But people were sharing screenshots left and right. And I you know, personally, like Cavino and Rich always say, if there's something you wouldn't personally do, you can't really condone it, you know? And for me, I just feel like that was a big part of their lives that they were saying goodbye to. And for people to be like, oh, fuck it, screenshot, share this, you know, I'm going to see how many comments I could get on my fucking picture I'm going to share.
Damn.
I felt it was a little fucked up.
And it was so abrupt, man.
Dirty vatos.
I didn't like it.
You know, I get what you're saying. I get what
Tim's
you're saying.
but I shared it.
I don't think anyone. No, I didn't share it. No, I didn't share it. But I see what you mean by it's negative, but I don't think anyone meant it in a negative way. I think everyone was wanting, because that, even though it was an intimate moment, it's kind of a sweet moment, man. Like, I was kind of intrigued, man. You seen Jordan there hugging him. Yeah. And like, she didn't even have any makeup on yesterday. She looked really pretty, by the way. And that's a endearing compliment. Nothing creepy about it. But to kind of see them break down like that was very touching, man. Like, and it does show a unique side, but at the same time, like, I have no disrespect to them. It doesn't lower what I think of them. Like, maybe it is more connecting, but
no, and I know the people. Community. No, I know the people that like did it, and and honestly, I won't have any like ill will towards them, because, like you said, there was nothing harmful that was meant for that. You know, I don't think they meant it intentionally to be rude, but And Covino even,
Yeah.
Today on his Instagram live, he was like joking about it, like, "Oh man, never let you see a vato cry and all this shit." And he was kind of joking about it, like it didn't even mean shit to him. But for me, I just like, I don't know, man. To me, and like I told you, I wouldn't hold it against any of those people that shared. But I just felt like when I saw it, I was like, "Come on, man, for real." Like,
You know what? I'd be worried about the Michael Jordan meme, right? Because maybe they didn't have that intention at the time, but it's a captured moment, dude.
no, Covino said that. El
It's
Cucuy
not
Covino
good.
said that. He said, he goes, "I covered my face," because that's what he did. He dropped his hands into his face, and he just like looked down. And Covino goes, "I wasn't about to become a meme." He goes, "Even though," he goes, "I didn't remember that I was recording," he goes, "I still know you never let them see you cry." He was like, "So I dropped my hands into my face." And he was like, he was very playful about it and joking, but he was like, "I wasn't about to become a Michael Jordan meme."
No, hell no.
No.
Nope.
I feel bad.
Hopefully it kept internally at the Carl page.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
But
know
yeah,
that.
Trey, they're gonna be going to Patreon. So if you don't have a Patreon account and you want to still hear the show, they're gonna be doing their show starting Monday on Patreon. It's gonna be $5 a month for the audio. Yeah. I guess if you pay $10 a month, you're gonna get the audio and video and like some behind the scenes type of shit where I guess like Covino's gonna kick it with Tommy and be like, "Oh, just talk to him about like his relationship," or like he just got back from Puerto Rico. So I guess they're going to talk about that. So there's going to be some more content in the evenings, they were saying. But as of right now, they're going to be on Patreon from Monday through Thursday.
Okay. Damn. I did not know that, dude.
I know, man. I feel bad. I can see you going through it right now. You're going through what all of us have already gone through.
I'm remembering when I first started listening to them in the very beginning when they were on Maxim, man. And then just, you just get used. You get used to it as a part of your whole vibe. You know what I mean?
Your routine.
Whole routine. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, were there any hints coming up to it in the last couple of weeks? Because I'm trying to figure out if anything I've heard, like where I left off, if there's anything that I may have missed.
Well, I could tell you what Covino told us today is that they told us on Monday that they were going to make the announcement. Well, I guess the Friday before that Monday is when they found out.
Okay.
So they've only known for a few days themselves, before they actually made the announcement.
Damn.
But Mike did bring up a good point. Mike was saying that he feels like there were some hints that were dropped as far as like maybe they might have even been subconscious. But they were dropping hints about like, subscribe to our podcast and, make sure you follow us on social media and all that. So even if they didn't know for sure, I think they had a gut feeling that it was going this way,
Yeah.
Wednesday's show, they were dropping lots of hints. I think Wednesday they got in. Do you guys listen live or did you guys hear that one on demand yet?
I listen live typically.
I don't listen.
Okay, so Wednesday, Spot and Rich were arguing about the like stupid comments and like one-liners. So, like Rich was getting mad at Spot for doing like dick jokes or whatever. Like, you guys really want to be known for that? And I remember Spot was after they made the announcement because I was a day and a half behind on my on demand. So when I was listening to Wednesday's show, after I had already heard the announcement on Thursday, he was saying something like, "Well, man, we gotta have fun, make these comments, make jokes, that's what we do here. If I can't go out and make these one-liners, then I quit." And that one hit kind of hard. I'm like, "You motherfucker," because I mean they'd already dropped the bomb on Thursday that they were leaving. So
yeah, man,
you could kind of feel it, but. No, I'm just worried if these guys do they have enough networking and clout in the Hollywood and sports era to, get with reps in order to become one of the circulating interviews You know, when people, once everything gets back to normal, you know, when Hollywood stars or athletes or whoever goes on their tours to, you know, push TV shows and movies, are they going to have the clout to get those interviews?
What I could tell you, Mike, you look like you were going to say something. I don't want to.
Oh, go ahead.
What I was going to say is they've been saying on like their lives and Facebook Live and Instagram Live and all that that they are going to have people on, but they said that's never been their focus and it's never been what drove the show. So as far as I guess, you know, there was times I'm sure they had people on that they didn't really give a fuck about, but they did it because they were company guys, you know? Now, at least, I think they have the freedom to do their show the way they want it, as far as no guests, unless they really want to talk to the fucking guests, you know? And I think, you know, Tim, you were saying you don't know if they have enough, like, clout in Hollywood and all that, but I don't know if they have the clout per se, but I do think that they have built some friendships. I believe that, like, Mark Paul Gosselaar, if they hit him up, I think he'll come on, you know, Zach Morris. And I think there's people like that. Jerry O'Connell, I think they've built a good relationship with. Just some people, I feel like, even if the people aren't hitting them up, you know, when they're doing their round of press, I still think that they're going to have people like that have become friends. I still think that they're going to have people like that on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I do like non-interviews, but I'm also, I feel bad. I don't want to say this and be negative, but I've been following their, I'm kind of saw this coming. I'm kind of a projectionist, and I kind of knew that they weren't pushing themselves hard enough. I never really got them to listen to me, but the way I looked at Sirius XM was their show and the way they talked was edgy, and I don't think Sirius wanted to full-heartedly back it because of the Me Too movement or the politically incorrect cancel culture. Like, they wanted their show to be like underground. So I really, really believe that it was up to Covino and Rich themselves to push the envelope with promotions, and I really think they slacked on that.
Definitely.
And so,
definitely.
I do think in a futuristic manner, you know, at least keeping the interviews is where they're going to build momentum. I mean, you look at, you know, Rich. I think Rich got him fired anyway because of the what was it? Taylor Swift incident. Like, that became a minor press.
What was that? Can you guys kind of
got...
explain that? Because I remember hearing like the ass end of that conversation, but I just heard, oh, I'm on Taylor Swift's like shit list, but I didn't hear what happened.
Okay, so in an interview, I think it was,
can somebody else tell me?
It's like for Hits One, so maybe on like a fishbowl interview or probably one of the big interviews. She was talking about the inspiration of one of her songs, and she went on to talk about, oh, it's about a girl who's needy and overly like bad traits, but the way that Taylor described it, she was talking about a girl, and Rich said something like, oh, so the song's not about you? And it was supposed to be lighthearted, and I think everyone took it that way at the time.
That's funny as fuck.
Like,
I mean,
someone in the Steve Buscemi online or whatever put Rich on the hit list. So I'm gonna kill you for Taylor Swift, but it is what it is, man. I get it, but
I'm surprised actually Rich made that comment, because it's funny like for us, and it's funny like if him and Rich, like, I mean, if Rich and Covino were talking about maybe they heard Taylor Swift say this and one of them made the comment, that'd be funny, but to say it like to her while you're interviewing her, that's a little takes some balls. I just feel like that's not it. I don't feel like that's in Rich's personality, you know?
I don't. Yeah, well, Rich says the darndest things. Like, you could like put Bill Cosby next to Rich Davis and have an entertaining show.
All right, man. Let's not get Rich canceled.
Bill Cosby allegations. No, I'm good. But Can't cancel them on Patreon. Come on now. But no, so I just think they needed to push the envelope. Like, I know they don't want to do social media, but I'm a true believer. There is so much content that they could put online. That shanty was fucking hilarious. Cavino was talking about earlier. No one liked my shanty. I fucking loved it, dude.
Yeah.
Cavino has the greatest talent.
Yeah.
When it comes to parodies and voiceovers. Like, I wish I've never met, like I said, Rich is the only one I've ever met. I want to go meet Cavino. I want to grab him by his fucking shoulders and go, use your fucking talents, Cavino. Like, I don't, like, they need someone to push them. And I'm not trying to be high and mighty here, but if I can get my shit together so I can, like, you know, get away from my career and go back to school, I would fucking kill to study like video production and audio and shit. I would love to do content for them.
Yeah. Let me turn my camera back on before I start talking shit. So yeah, but yeah, man. I don't even know where to go from there.
I'm still like, damn, this shit is over just like that.
I know, man. You're still processing it, huh?
Yeah.
At least they got to have a final show, you know, like Jason Ellis did not get that. Most shows don't get that.
Yeah, I'm still. Well, I'm definitely gonna watch. I'm gonna listen to all of the shows that I'm missing. I think it's like 3 or 4. I'm behind 3 or 4.
Yeah, that I think, Mike. I think that speaks volumes of Cavino and Rich and what Sirius thinks of them, because they could have very well have been like, you know, fuck this company, they blow, blah, blah, blah. But they trusted them enough to not only do one show, but do basically 2, because they made the announcement early in the morning, you know? And if they knew, well, more than that, because they knew about it for about a week before, you know, they told us. So they trusted them to do their Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, an entire week. You know, they could have just came out Monday and been like, you know, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you're cool, and fuck you, I'm out, and fucking been done, you know?
You know, it's, I was thinking when I was watching the video, I'm like, they're sitting on the couch doing this. Like, how different would it have been if they were in studio for that final show? Like, it would have been even more emotional, you know?
I know.
Because they would have had to walk the halls afterward and clean out their office. You know, they still may have to do that. I'm sure they have stuff left in the office.
Damn, I didn't even think of that, Mike. You're right.
Yeah.
Damn, dog.
I know they probably got their essential stuff out before COVID, but I'm sure they left a ton of shit.
Are they still on with ESPN, or is that over too?
No, they covered that too. They finally covered that. You know, it's been the elephant in the room for months now, but they finally admitted that ESPN didn't renew their contract. They didn't get canceled, but they didn't get renewed. So
yeah, that was something that Cavino addressed earlier today as well, where he said, you know, last year we had 2 national shows, and today he's like, we have none. That's like, fuck, man, that's heartbreaking, you know? I mean, for somebody that makes peanuts on the regular, you know, I don't fucking make a lot of money. I work in education, but, you know, even with their fucking one, you know, gig doing the music side, I'm sure they make more than me. But still, man, just to know, like, because I think we all are invested in them as like friends at this point, you know? And
for sure.
And when you feel like, you know, if I hear like my buddy loses his job, it fucking hurts me, you know? And for that, it sucks, man. It sucks. Like, one of the good things though is that I hate saying good things, but one of the cool things, I guess, about all this is that Cavino said that he was up like all night going through feedback and, you know, seeing the positive people. You know, I'm sure like 90% of their feedback was positive, aside from the few assholes who were like, fuck you, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
There was one guy on the Carl page I saw. He was like, "Oh, you guys deserve this. You guys are complaining, bitch."
For real?
And I'm like, Come on, man. Who the fuck are? Why are you in this group if you're gonna talk?
No,
shit
you
like
know who fucking irritated me, and I've had him as a guest on this show. Fucking Nate Silverman.
I blocked that guy. Fuck that guy. If he's watching this or hears it, I can't stand that guy. He was actually in studio when I went to California the first time. And then he sent me a friend request after that, and then he just puts all this like snarky shit that he thinks is funny. He would comment on all my shit. I'm like, dude, I don't know you, you know? And I one day I just blocked him. Oh, he snitch tagged me. That's what he did. He snitch tagged me. I forgot what I posted, but he did something shady, and I blocked this guy. And thank God I don't have to see his shit anymore.
No,
Fuck him.
he didn't make any sense to me. No, he didn't make any sense to me because he put well, first it was funny. Shout out to Lonnie because Lonnie was like, "Hey, this shit doesn't belong on this page. Please keep it." But he wasn't a dick about it. Nate had made a comment about them leaving Sirius on their Covino and Rich finance page or some shit. I think it was a finance page or one of those shits. And Nate made a comment, and Lonnie told him keep it, financial, shit related. But what I didn't like is I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, he had said they're never gonna last. That they're made for radio, and he was like, and people were like, oh, like you don't want to open a different app, like that's your issue. And he was like, no, he's like, I want to use my phone. He said, I want to listen to them on the radio while I'm using my phone. And I was like, okay, a lot of people, myself included, barely listen in the car to Covino and Rich, If maybe I was at my office and I had to fucking run home because I shit my pants, well then I fucking jumped in my car, and as I'm driving to my house, I'm like, oh cool, I get to listen to them in the car, But they're right there on that block to where I'm fucking in my office, so I'm listening on the app. And like I have my AirPods in all fucking day at work, so I'm listening to podcasts and Covino and Rich. And so I think he was the minority, being that, no, fuck that. I believe a lot of people are more like myself. Even if they do listen in the car from time to time, a majority of the time I feel like it's on the app. They're listening on demand. They're going back and rewinding. I just feel like he had, and it was like, even if he felt that way, I felt like, was this really the time to bring that up? Like, come on, man. Everybody's kind of, everybody's kind of like mourning like the loss of the show. And he's like, well, they're done. They're never going to make it. And I was like, come on, man.
He said that?
Yeah, he said what? Oh, fuck, I'm on my phone. Or you know what? I'm on Facebook on my computer. Let me read you his shit. Right here. I'm not listening to these guys on a podcast. They're meant for radio. And then this dude, fucking Jim Pileman, said, then you're not a true fan. Later to you. And then I put, I don't get how it'll be different. They're still going to be doing their show, hoping he would fucking respond and tell me like why he thinks it's different. So watch. Where did he say this shit? Fuck.
For me, it's not any different. I get home from work, and then like around 4 p.m. I look, and then the show's uploaded on demand. I download it, and then I listen to it. So for me, it's always been exactly like a podcast, no different. So I don't know what this guy's
look at. And then this girl, Rosemarie Guerrero, she said they literally said they aren't stopping the show. And then Nate responded and said, "You don't get it. We want to keep the radio and phone separate. Oh, CNR now live on Spotify. So I don't know if he meant I must, but he put, so log into the app and just click rather than turn on the car radio, listen and flip back and forth and call into the show with my phone." So he's mad that he's going to, I guess, have a fucking app. But like you said, Mike, it's fucking, you get home, it's uploaded. You're like, oh, cool, I'll go back and listen, to what I missed earlier today while I'm doing the dishes or whatever in the evening,
Yeah.
He doesn't call anyway, thank God.
Yeah, that's what I didn't get.
I've never heard him call.
That's what I didn't get when he said that in the call page. I was like, you're saying this shit, but you don't even fucking call. I don't get it. And like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Here's how Patreon works. I know, most people probably don't know much about it, but when you subscribe to Patreon, you're going to get a private link. It's a long link, and you can copy and paste the link. You go in your, like if you have an iPhone, you go in Apple Podcasts, you go to edit, you paste the link in there, and then you enter it, and then it's going to load up along with all your other podcasts. It's going to load up Covino and Rich, whatever the official name for the show is going to be, probably the Covino and Rich Show. But it'll have their new graphic. I'm sure they'll have a new graphic. That'll load up. It'll look just like a podcast. And then when they upload it, it'll be there. I don't know how they're going to do the live thing. That to me is, I know nothing about that. I didn't know that you can do Patreon live stuff.
I don't know if you can, but I don't know if I'm remembering it correctly, but I think the King and the Sting, they're another podcast. I think they do part of their things live on Patreon. So hopefully there is some live portion that we're not aware of, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, but it's just...
They're going to do video too, so I would assume that would have to... maybe it won't be live. Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't know yet. I don't know if they know, you know?
I was gonna actually, I was gonna hit up Spot to tell him, because he said today, or yesterday, all my fucking days are blurred together now, guys. So I'm sorry, but Spot had mentioned that he's still trying to figure out how to like take the calls and like patch them in. And I've done interviews through Google, what is it? Like a Google Voice phone number. And I've taken the call. I think my first one with Al Kukui was that way, where I actually had him call a number and then I like routed it into my computer to record it. I was thinking about messaging Spot and just telling him how to do that. But he, I think what would be a little different is the fact that they're going to be broadcasting on Patreon. So that might be different, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, man,
I'm excited though, man. I'm excited to see the new graphics. I mean, if we're gonna, hope for a good future, which I think they'll have one, in their content, that's probably gonna be just as good. I'm curious to see what that first episode's gonna bring. I wouldn't miss that.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
Well, I think I might have to wrap this up in a minute because my mom's watching my kid right now. But is there anything that you guys want to say as far as like, how you're feeling, what you think, anything, just any closing, I guess, statements before we bounce?
No, man, I'm excited for the future. As sad as it is, the other option is they just didn't do the show anymore, right? So at least they're still fighting for us,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And they're fighting for themselves. I think they know that it means as much to us as it does to them. You know what I'm saying? At least the true fans. And once again, I'm looking forward to that first show.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, same here. Man, it's like an end of an era, though, man.
It is, And what's crazy, they said something that stuck with me though, is that instead of 10 million listeners, the potential is unlimited. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool. I mean, especially, I'm gonna cancel my series too, and I'd rather give the $10 to Patreon to see what it's all about.
No, you know what? And I honestly, I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but I feel like that statement is only partially true because now they're on Patreon, If they were going to go like to a full on like just like podcast, then that would make sense. But they still have to win over the people and have them come over and have them pay for another subscription. So I just think it's going to be, I appreciate their, optimism, and I'm fucking trying to be as optimistic as the next guy, but that is cool. Yeah, they do have the option to reach millions now, as opposed to like their 30 million. Now they can reach 2 billion, but there's still that subscription that's kind of like, damn,
Yeah. There's nothing like having SiriusXM as that vehicle behind them, man. That's a huge distributor, dude. You can't. That's that's a lot. That's valuable.
Well, now it's time. It's time, man. It's time to, I don't know. I'm out here in California, and like all of our rappers, they all started by the independent. You know what I'm saying? Pushing records out of the trunk. So I'm looking at it like, well, these guys were lucky because they already were able to get on a major label and create their following.
Yeah.
Now it's just pushing content, right?
Exactly. It's all about whether or not, you know, how true that following really is and whether or not it's going to translate over. You know, like I know exactly what, as soon as you guys drop the news, you know, I'm like, damn, I'm going to go watch. I'm going to go listen to all the episodes, the final episodes, and then I'm going to promptly cancel my Sirius XM.
Yeah,
you know what's crazy
too
though? Is it's bringing out the Nate Silver. Who was that? Nate Silverman that everyone was pissed off at?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how many of the listeners turn into Nate Silvermans.
Yeah.
Right? Which ones are going to call themselves out right now?
Yeah, it sucks, man.
Yeah, not everybody's gonna go over to Patreon and pay the money. You know, even though it's only $5. Come on, if you can't afford $5, you got bigger problems. But you know, I hope the majority of people will come to Patreon, pay the money, and you're gonna get your money's worth. You know.
Yeah.
If you're paying $15 or $20 a month for Sirius, you can afford.
You know what? I got a public service announcement from the El Kukui. If you can't pay $5 to go to Patreon and I ever see you in a Starbucks, we're throwing fists. Just saying,
no
right
shit.
now.
No shit. But anyway, Tim, now that you have your mic on.
Yeah. Jesus, that no wonder I've been trying to talk for the last 20 minutes and I kept getting cut off. Like,
nobody likes me.
I thought, you know, this was, oh my God, I fucking hate you guys. I'm unsubscribing. But no, like, you know, it's square one. They need to go back to promoting hard promotions, man. I hope that they continue doing the weekend best ofs. I think that's a necessity. Like, you're not going to get new subscribers unless you give them a taste of what you're all about. So hopefully Rich keeps going with Nicole on have kids, they said. If Steve does his own thing, you know, with his brother, like, keep the content, you know, make most of it private and membership wise, but, you know, make sure to bust out, you know, some weekly best of so people can preview. Hey, you like what you hear? Subscribe on Patreon for $5 a month or $10 a month. And, you know, let's see where that goes, you know. I think their motto, or I think their sales pitch should be like, you know, stay up to date, stay informed, or be in the know with the Covino Rich Show. Like, honestly, that's what the show does. You could be out of touch as a parent, not know what's going on in the world, but you listen to the Covino Rich Show, and they pretty much cover it. What's going on in online, TikTok, music. I've got a lot of people that make fun of me, like, dude, you know too much shit. Like, I just listen to the Covino Rich Show. Like, I'm not watching Disney. I just know this shit because they talk about it.
Yeah, they're keeping us relevant. They're keeping us relevant.
Hopefully they can promote. So, and oh yeah, my smart ass comment is, what was that one dude's Nate Silverman? I said I made the comment earlier, but I was muted, but his sister's really hot. His sister, Sarah.
Oh, that was a good one. Are you going to be here all week?
I don't have. I mean, you'd have to.
That would have made more sense if she was hot.
I don't. Dude, I fucking would. I know she's in her 40s. I fucking would. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, well I would. I just didn't say she's hot.
Sarah,
there's a difference.
When you don't think Sarah Silverman is hot?
Different strokes.
Well, you're married.
Different strokes.
So.
You know what? I don't like white ladies. I'm sorry. They're too plain. She's too plain.
Well, I did.
Hey.
Oh shit! I just
figured out what happened. White.
You know what happened?
I'm an Italiano, but no. Yeah.
Hey. Do you know what happened? When you guys were talking about Selena Gomez and I called dibs, someone muted me because I got
that's
jealous.
What it was. That's what it was. And I'm the only one that has the control to mute.
Selena.
So.
Cricket didn't like that, Tim.
This fucking guy.
Oh man. Well.
No, Selena Gomez, Miranda Cosgrove. They do have some fucking
Miranda Cosgrove.
I'm not even intimidated. Dude, she's
No, she was like fucking. She was like
is
7
super
for like 14 years.
Let me in, motherfuckers. Hold on. I'm trying to get on the 303.
I'm just breaking your. I'm
Sorry,
breaking
bro.
your balls,
Dude,
Tim.
no.
She is a very attractive girl now that she's of age.
Well, yeah, I'm obviously like.
On Drake and Josh, she was like
they're all-
4. Ah. I'm breaking your balls, Tim. I know she's attractive. I'm just kidding, but yeah, man.
No, you're good. I'm switching lanes, like I'm still driving. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure I don't hit the car next to me.
Do you have anything, Mike, to say before we bounce?
Just want to let you all know I'm burning a bearded wick candle right now.
Oh,
What scent, bro?
Spa
What
day.
scent is that?
Oh,
Spa day.
Oh,
El
shit.
Kakui had a suggestion for a new scent. What was it, El Kakui?
I forgot, bro. What was it?
It was chocolate jubbos, remember?
Oh.
We were talking about the show Power the other day, and I was telling him there was a gang of chocolate jubbos in there that was dope. So he texted Spot and said to come up with the new scent.
Spot should do prank candles. You should do like prank scents, like third gear.
I was
and then like
I was waiting for him to come out with the laser toe.
The laser toe.
Remember they said
Yeah,
his toe shot lasers?
No, you know what's funny? I logged into like Custom Ink or some shit, right? From like fucking, I didn't even know that I still had this. I had photoshopped Covino, Rich, and Spot onto Ghostbusters, and I had put Spot's big toe behind them with the big X through it, and I called them
shit.
Toe Busters. And I logged into Custom Ink because I was going to get an after show little logo put on a shirt. So I logged into my account. I didn't even know I had an account. And it was like, oh, you already have an account, so we'll reset your password. I did all that. I log in, and I just see Toe Busters, a T-shirt. So, yeah, man. But I appreciate it, man. Do you have anything, Trey, before we bounce?
no, man. Just hey, we just gotta keep supporting them on
man.
the other platforms.
Just keep shouting them out.
the
That's
world.
it, man. Now we'll see
For
who
sure.
the real cars are, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys joining.
Yep.
I had a great time. This was fucking awesome. I thought it was going to be just me and El Kakui, but just doing another show. But I appreciate you guys joining in. And yeah, just for everybody, you can hit us up if you have any questions. AfterShowBL across all social media. And yeah. Oh, and you know what? If you guys feel like texting us, just 928-235-5285 at Aftershow across all social media for DZF Baby, El Kakui, Baseline Trey, Mike Durbin, and Tim Titaliski. We'll see you guys in episode number 63.
Peace.
On the road to the riches, cause it's all about the paper. Now buckle up your seats and prepare for the journey. Let the music ease your soul, grab a spliff and start burning. Relax with us and take a trip to the heavens. And come and spend a day in the 757.